today.
Oh, if people only knew how Mr. Chopping is, especially on the YouTube channel. He's just so sweet. Sweet, precious.
It's sweet all the time, honey. Ask my sisters.
To Kit.
Yeah, to Kit. That's one of my favourite dogs. Okay, here we go. Deanna.
No, your sisters will say the same thing I do.
Is perfect.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. Adrian Espino. Eldrin Espino. Thank you always, blah, 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 for knowledge. I'd like to ask, what is AYA? AYA is going to be basically a fawn dog. My friend got a dog with AYA, big B, little d, that's a merle. So that is a blue fawn merle. Yeah, true.
Can I ask a question? Can it be a sable like that too?
That's AYAT. I don't...
A sable is?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think AYA will be. Is it true that all fawns would carry a copy of cream? No, absolutely not. No, cream is completely independent of, and I just did a
added ingredient.
Yeah. You know, it could be a cream carrot, it might not be cream. If it's literally cream, it'll cover everything up and it'll look like a cream dog. Miss Glenda, is 1 cc equal to 1 ml? Yes, it is.
Should we discuss about what I let you read last night off of Facebook?
I did a video on that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll talk about it a second.
Okay.
So if my dog is 125 pounds, can I go by the dosages on the back? Yeah, but look, be careful here, because I think that's in reference to a video that I did where I talked about off-the-counter antibiotics that you can get for things like fish. The dosage that it gives for a fish will almost certainly be completely different, because that's in an aquarium, than what you'd give for a dog. So I would Google, let's say that you're going to use amoxicillin. Google amoxicillin dosage canine, and then you'll get the right answer. And don't ask me what the dosages are, because there's a liability here. I'm not a vet and I'm not going to give out dosages, but you can find it yourself.
Ooh, that means you have to do your homework.
Yes. Here's an interesting one. I had this one before. Lisa Noah Cow. Please forgive blah 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 blah. Do vets have alternative anesthesias like an epidural for dogs? I've seen a couple of vets start talking during a C-section. After 5 to 10 minutes, lose puppies that are under anesthesia for too long. Yeah, well, so the answer is there are a number of different kinds of anesthesias are given. Some vets do it strictly through an injection, like they use what's the thing that killed Michael Jackson? Propofol.
Yeah,
propofol. And knock a dog down with propofol. Do the whole thing that way. Most vets use a inhalation anesthesia, and I could tell you the names of them, but it wouldn't be particularly relevant. Flora or something or other. But anyway, there are different kinds, and they certainly do work in different ways. And I have seen quite a bit of difference in how drugged up the puppies are when they come out.
Or mama.
Yeah, or mama. The very, very important thing is that they weigh the dog, and they're all going to do this, that they weigh the dog. And if you're there, then I would always confirm what the weight is, because if you get
kind of like a little reminder.
Yeah, just say,
because we're all humans.
You can say, for instance, what does she weigh today? And they'll come back and say, 35 pounds. You got a 25-pound dog. Somebody messed up. So you can just say, that doesn't sound right. I think she's 25 pounds. But again, you're not going to influence the vet on what kind of anesthesia they're going to use. Epidurals, no, they just don't do epidurals that I'm aware of. I've never heard of an epidural you don't just, you don't. The problem here is when you do an epidural on human beings, the idea behind this is that mum's awake and during the whole procedure. You don't want a Frenchie to be awake during this procedure. They don't have a clue what's going on. And so you've got to knock them out completely. And so the secret to this is to use the right amount of anesthesia for the weight of the dog and get it done fairly quickly. You don't want a dog to be under anesthesia for too long. And by the way, talking about that, that's another reason why you do not do a spay at the end of a C-section.
No.
It's too much anesthesia, it's too much stress on the dog, just don't do it. If you're going to do a spay, and there's good reasons to do a spay. I'm not going to talk about that. But if you're going to do a spay, don't be talked into doing a spay at the end of the operation. Come back after mum's whelped and weaned her puppies and she's back to normal running weight and a healthy, happy dog, and then do the spay. What is the name of the chemical that keeps the sperm alive for 5 days? So asked that question. You're talking about a semen extender. There's lots of different versions of it. There isn't a chemical as such. Some of them are milk-based, some of them are yolk-based, and some of them are other-based. I don't like the first two at all. The product that we use is called Canoplus LT, or long-term. It's good for up to 10 days, but it has to be used correctly to get those results. Great extender. I've got videos, I think, on extenders. But that's the product I would, and you can buy that from My Breeder Supply, by the way. So it's got a 2-year shelf life. I love the stuff. Someone says Team Oklahoma. There you go. Amanda Lay. I have an English golden retriever who had her first heat back in 9/4/21. So we've got 9. So we've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. We're coming up on 8 months. No signs of a second heat. I'm worried she may be experiencing a silent heat. Any advice or suggestions? Well, so some dogs do this. I mean, some dogs come in every year. Some dogs come in every 6 months. Some dogs are in between those numbers. Don't get too worried about this. No. If you want to try to hurry things up, put it with a dog that's in heat. That's about the only thing that I know of that's safe and reliable to do. "3M photos. My dog has watery eyes. I recently started ground turkey, so I stopped giving it. I hope that was it. No mucus, just watery eyes. Look, I don't think there's a thing that you're going to do diet-wise that's going to make a difference on watery eyes. I think there's going to be 2 reasons for watery eyes. One is the dog's got some kind of allergies causing an irritation, making the eyes water. And the other one, she just got watery eyes.
Maybe sometimes it depends on the laundry soap you're using or a new bedding that you put in there.
So that would be back to
those things.
So that'd be back to an allergy. Yeah, that'd be just allergy situation.
Yeah.
So like Tammy's saying, don't worry about the food. Worry about maybe the environment.
Right.
And so if if it's summertime and there's high pollen count,
we got it real big now. So trees.
That could make a dog's eyes water more or look red.
Oh.
But I suspect that it's either just some people's have what's called dry eye, and they take medication for it. Some people's eyes water a lot more. I don't think there's, other than if this is an outside allergen causing a problem, I don't think you're going to make anything to do it. Is it possible for my Choco Merle to be Merle and Brindle at the same time? Absolutely. Brindle is completely independent of everything else. You can have any dog in the world and it can have a copy of Brindle and show it, or be masked to a certain degree by Merle or completely by Cream.
I heard a funny comment the other day was Brindle is the structure of the dog. So maybe they were just misusing that, because Brindle has nothing to do with the structure of your dog. Structure is body conformation. So maybe they meant the DNA.
So someone's giving me a rough time over the one that I did on using a paddling pool as a whelping box. And he says, you're telling people to make a whelping box out of a $3 kiddie pool. You should be ashamed. Keep going. You should be ashamed.
What?
Well, look, I'm not advocating you use a kiddie pool, but there are people who use kiddie pools. And the whole idea behind this, if you're going to use a kiddie pool, then invest in a system that does this the right way. Right. If you don't like the pool noodles, then do something else, or use bigger pool noodles. I do mention that in the video. The pool noodles I use are a bit small. But the whole point here is I do say at the end, this is not necessarily the way that I like to do it. It's not the way I do it. Right. But here's an alternative. So give me heck, that's fine, but...
you were just doing it for people that wanted that.
Yep.
Boy, everybody's just on the money about nick. Anything you say wrong, oh my gosh, it's like, okay.
Right.
We like, criticize. criticism, but
well, that was fair enough. I mean, it was constructive. You know, he's saying
Katie, bar the door.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, it was said in a nice way. I have a problem with that at all. I mean, he brought up some relevant points, and I mean, I think that in my defence, I wasn't saying that this is the right way to do it. I was just saying that if you're going to use a kiddie pool, here's a way that you can make that work better. So we're going to end this video on this stuff here. So let's just talk about.
I thought you were going to talk about what we.
Oh, I will. Okay, I will.
Yeah.
Look, if I ask Tammy what she likes about a whelping system, how it should she build, she will say,
I love it.
What do you? Well, but what I'm asking, what should the structure of a kid? What should be the elements of a whelping system? Do you think? What are the things that you think in a well-designed whelping system should have?
Where it's able to keep the puppies warm and safe, and mama in there with them, which she wants to be in there with them. But just in case you're gone, then she can't jump out and hide puppies somewhere else, just in case she feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm going to say it slightly differently, but exactly. So what you want in a decent whelping system is something that makes sure the puppies don't get squashed. You must have a pig rail. Whatever you do, whether you use
safe.
Yeah, whatever you do, But so the safe part is puppies can get squished. You've got to have a pig rail. The second thing that Tammy mentioned there was some kind of a heating system. If puppies get cold, they die. So our solution, which is patented by us, by the way, is that you put the heat under the pig rail, because then you combine those two things together. The puppies migrate to where the heat is, that's under the pig rail, so they're protected by the pig rail and they're kept warm.
Nice.
And thirdly, mum is not getting any extra heat, because all the other systems out there either use heat lamps or heat pads. They heat mum up, she hates it. So that's the other element to talk about. And finally, Tammy mentioned that you want to make sure she doesn't get out of there. Now, you're not going to be there 24/7 looking after these puppies. You don't want to be there 24/7 looking after these puppies. That's mum's job. But you want to be sure that when you leave to go to the supermarket or go out to eat or whatever you do in your daily life, that mum doesn't decide that she's going to put the puppy somewhere else, and she starts taking puppies out, picks them up in her mouth, hops over the wall, because if you're using like a homemade box, maybe a Dura-Whelp, any of those kind of things, that she then takes them and puts them in under the bed and some under the closet, and they get cold, and you come home and you can't find the puppies, and when you find them, they're dead. So those are the things that Tammy said, and I said it in kind of a more verbose way. All right, so the last thing is Tammy was talking about a
subject that was brought up.
Yes, this is a kind of a you're going to pull in him?
Yeah.
Take pull in Tammy.
I am. Is this illegal?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was watching what we're doing. I was my mind.
He's got a steering wheel on his side.
Oh my goodness. Tammy doesn't like to waste time as you're driving. All right.
I've kept you safe and sound.
So far. If the videos stop, all of a sudden there's no more videos. Good guess is that we got into a bad wreck. Anyway, right, so Tammy's talking about, I just did a video, by the way, on carriers. So there was a tirade going on. Well, it was actually a tirade, but somebody was complaining, a number of people were complaining about when people make statements like Isabella Carrier. And there's two schools of thought. One is, you're kind of a bit misrepresenting the dog, and the other one is, well, we want to do the best we can to not have to explain everything about DNA and kind of get an idea about what the dog can produce. I just did a video on this in some depth as to, how I think people should be doing this. Get the DNA of your dog that you're getting or the dog you're using, and spell out the DNA. You can say other things about it, like this is an Isabella Carrier, but explain what the DNA is. Yeah. Because when somebody says Isabella Carrier, it can mean...
I always say Isabella Maker or New Shade Maker, with meaning that she carries all that ingredient to produce that. If you put her with the correct partner, or him with the correct partner, to bring up that DNA,
yes,
that he has the same like her to produce a new shade.
And you always give out the complete DNA too.
Exactly.
And you always, I say you, Tammy and I, always know the DNA of every single dog that is on our premises, our stud dogs, our mamas or our puppies. And when we have a puppy that hasn't got the DNA back yet, we state that. We say, we think this dog is, but we're waiting on DNA confirmation. We use animal genetics. So, you know, here's the problem. Is, you know, you don't want to undersell your dog and you don't want to oversell your dog. I mean, you want people to get a dog they're very happy with, and you don't want surprises where people have misinterpreted what you said on DNA, or worse yet, you've misinterpreted what it is on DNA. You said a dog is something and it's not. And I do see that quite a bit. You know, people will say, you know, this is an Isabella Maker. An Isabella Maker has to have a copy of Cream, and the DNA doesn't have a copy of Cream in it. It cannot be an Isabella Maker. That dog's never going to make an Isabella. It's not going to make a Cream dog.
You mean
or Platinum.
You mean Platinum.
I'm sorry.
You said Isabella.
Sorry, there we go.
Yeah, Platinum has to have Cream, not an Isabella.
Yeah, sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Very good, exactly. That's why, there you go. There's a prime example of what we're talking about here. If you can put the DNA, you've got to be able to spell out the DNA letters. And with that, then there's no confusion. Well, it shouldn't be. What else, Tammy?
I guess that's it.
All right,
Just
thanks.
make sure you check out that YouTube video that he did on that, so everybody can.
Yeah, it's
get an idea.
actually being uploaded as we're speaking, so it'll be tomorrow.
I can turn here, right?
Yeah, let me just check. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.